I'm often being asked how you paint white animals. So I've just prepared a little video in which we paint this little avocet. During this video, you'll get to learn a lot about seeing the colours that are in white, skills such as wet into wet, wet on dry, and also colour mixing as well. So to paint the avocet, you're going to need a drawing on paper. The paper that I've used is Arches 300 gram, 140 pound, 100% cotton, because it's more predictable and less likely to bloom. You're going to need the photograph here, some water. I just used one brush. This is a round brush. It's made by Sea White of Brighton. It's size 12 and it's synthetic. They're quite cheap in the UK. They're around about £3 or so. I've got a plastic white palette, but you could use a tin one or porcelain. There's some paper towel, and then I've got 4 paints. I've got a black. You could use any black really, but this is just Cotman range, which is the cheaper of the Winsor and Newton ranges, and this is in lamp black. And then the 3 professional ones, there's Winsor Blue green shade, Winsor Lemon, and quinacridone magenta. So it's pretty much the same colours that you'd find in your printer, and I tend to paint most things now using those 4 colours. So when painting something in white, the main thing before anything else is to actually ensure that you see the other colours that are within the whites. And these are the shadow colours. So if you look at this photograph, we've got blue, we've got what appears to be white, but it isn't white. It's actually kind of this kind of colour. It's like a grey, like a warm grey, down to blue, warm greys, and the little pops of, say, yellowy greens in there as well. Again, we've got blue and blue. And these are the only areas that I would probably leave completely white. Down here, we've got the blue in the legs and then a blue shadow. So it's really important to see these other colours that are in the whites. And they generally tend to be blues and neutral greys, kind of grubby violets, and grubby lilacs, those kind of colours. So I'm going to get started with mixing up a variety of these colours here. So I'm going to grab some blue, quite a watery blue, and I can see that it's warmer than that, so it needs a little bit of magenta in it. So it's that kind of ish colour, and then it kind of goes a bit pinker over here, so same colours but just a pinker version, pinker than that. And then this is kind of like a grey, so it sounds a bit weird, but I'm going to grey it down with some yellow. So it's the opposite side even of the colour wheel. So we'll use that to neutralise it. That gives us a really nice kind of grey colour, and it's kind of like some pinkish colours over there. So I'm just going to activate some pink over here, and a little bit of kind of a green colour here. So just a bit of yellow and blue over here, and I'll chop and change between all of these as I run through. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply water to the whole of this section in one fell swoop. Now I'm going to add the water. There's a little bit of colour in it, but it doesn't matter because it's blue anyway, and there's elements of blue in all of this. Now, it's quite warm today, so this will dry quite quickly, so I'll end up popping a little bit more of this water on in a minute before I apply the paint. Just looking at everywhere else that's got blue in it. Doesn't matter if it goes over this burgundy colour. That's going to be a lot darker soon. thought this brush was okay, but there's not much of a point on it, to be honest. It's seen better days. So what I'm doing now is I'm just re-wetting this area so it doesn't get a chance to dry. And actually I'm going to put a little bit of wet there as well. Just re-wetting it, and actually I'm going to take some down the legs because I think we might end up getting a really nice flow going all the way down to the legs and to the shadow at the base. I haven't done this painting before, but I think it's just fun sometimes to experiment and just see what happens. Just change that brush over because it was a bit rubbish. Again, just checking that this is wet. And we'll get that drop shadow wet as well. Oops, put too much water there. Now I'm just checking that everything is wet that I want to be wet, so I want it soggy, so I'm just really just moving this water about. It's not pooling anywhere, but the legs I think have gone a bit dry, so I'm just going to go back over those. Okay, right, so with that in mind now, I'm going to grab some of this colour and I'll just make a little bit more of it actually, because I think I'll run out otherwise. I'm just getting rid of some of the liquid in my brush like this, and I'm just going to dab it on here, and that will just tell me if I need to go a little bit darker or if that's about the right tone. I think I can go a little bit darker there actually. That means a bit more pigment, a bit thicker. Just calming it down with a bit of pink and magenta. So I'm just going to pop that around the edge. And now I'm just going to drop some of that blue in here. I'm just judging that next colour. It's kind of like this kind of colour, like a neutral grey. And I'm just encouraging them to blend just gently with my brush. Actually, some of it is up here as well. So it's not white here, there's colour there. I'm just moving it about the page with my brush. It kind of goes a little bit green underneath there, or greener shade, I should say. Now I'm just checking my shapes. So that one goes up there. And that'd be nice to get the legs in. And I can see that it's drying very quickly because we're getting a hard edge there. So I'm just going to add some water. And again, you can see there that there's a hard edge because it's dried. Actually, it's grayer than that, so I'm also going to make it a little bit grayer. Now, I've missed a little bit of light in that leg, but I'll lift it out later. This little bit here. Yes, absolutely dried, but it's not the end of the world if that's the case. I'm just dropping in this very wet solution. And this is dried as well, this drop shadow. So I'm going to apply water again to it. You could just apply a blue wash if I'm honest, either. Now this is darker than this, so I'm mixing up a thicker mix. So bit of blue, bit of pink, and then it needs to be grubbier than that. You could put a bit of black in there, or you could put a bit of yellow and pink. Just to kind of get a grubbier, more desaturated blue. I'm having to work quite fast here because it is so warm today. Whilst that's just settling down, I'm just going to pop some thicker, kind of darker blobs in that. I've just added a little bit of black to this mix. Let's get it moving a little bit though. And just to take advantage of the fact it's dampish, just to get some different shapes on there. So at the moment, this is all settling down, but I think, yeah, these legs have dried already. So what I'm going to do is just go over with another layer. And I'm not going to bother wetting them. I'm just going to go straight in with colour. Actually, they are still a little bit damp. You can tell that because they kind of go a bit smudgy. Oh, but it's dry there where you can see the hard edge. It is so warm today. Mad. I'm just strengthening the tone in that leg. I'm dropping some darks into the end of it, just while it's damp, just to try and get a couple of little soft edges. And here, this just needs to be a little bit darker as well, this leg. And here, just to correct that shape a little bit. It's a little bit off in a couple of places. Okay, so now I'm just assessing this here. I can see that there's a bit of a splurge here, but I can't really lift that until that's dry. Otherwise I'll end up most likely with a bloom or just really messing it up. So I'm just going to check it for, yeah, that's still a little bit damp. So I'm not going to touch that until it's completely dry. There's a couple of shapes that I want to change. So what I'm going to do is turn it upside down and get the dark feathers done. So what I'm looking for are the kind of colours here, the underlying colours. So there's like a burgundy, there's actually a bit of blue in this beak as well. Blue that kind of goes into black. So I'm going to mix those colours up. So I'll start with burgundy colour, then I'm going to make it browner by adding yellow, and then add some of this blue to it. I think it needs to be a bit browner than that. So if you think of brown as being orange, put some orange in it, which is yellow and magenta. I'm going to grubby that up a bit with some blue. And I think that's too blue, so I'll still use it, but I want one that's a bit more brown. That's nearly there. So I've got a couple of different colours there. I've got this kind of reddy burgundy colour here. And then I've got this darker colour here. Got some blues there as well. So I always go with the lightest colours first. So I'm going to pop some blue in first. There's also some blues just around here, in here as well, just around the edges, and here, some pale blue. Also another little colour there I'm popping in, redder than that though, so let's drop that in, although not that red. So I always put the undercolours in first. A lot of these are going to get lost in a minute. Okay, and then now I'm going to go for the next darkest colour, which is this kind of orangey burgundy colour. We're going to pop that in next. I want this a little bit thicker so it's a bit more impactful. I'm just grabbing some more pigment to do that. And I'm just cutting around the eye. If I did accidentally go over it, which there's a good chance that I will, I can just lift it after, because I've got that colour just underneath it. Chances are it'll need darkening anyway. Just going to pop some darks down here. Just kind of feathering it in a little bit. Now I'm just going to go as carefully as I can to get that beak done. I'm just mixing up that really nice thick burgundy brown colour again. So it's magenta, some blue and some yellow. Just trying to allow some of the blue to still be visible. I'm just going to drop a little bit of black into that with some water as well, just to make a thicker, richer, pastier colour. So I'm looking at this, and that is darker than that side over there. I need it to be a little bit more impactful, so I'm just going in a bit thicker. Whilst I've got this on my brush, I'm going to drop some here as well. It always dries a bit lighter than what you expect. Still takes me by surprise. I'm now going to drop these darker colours in. So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to cut in with some water here. I'm going to try and preserve a little bit of light if I can. You get a really nice drift of colour there. I think it would be nice to link a little bit of blue into that. Get a warm blue, so add a bit of pink into there. Just get them mixing a little bit. And then just loosen that up with some water. A really light colour at the top of here. And then it goes into that brownish colour. This is too light, it's not impactful enough, so I need to put some more pigment in. So it's an orange with some blue. It's quite a red kind of brown. I have to keep my finger on the photo so I know where I am. That's the first wash, and whilst that's damp, it'd be really nice to drop in a thick pasty kind of darker version of that. So I'll mix up the brown very quickly and some blue. And maybe a little bit of black. And then just start dropping it in. So you get some really nice kind of soft edges. So to get a soft edge, you read and to have some impact with this colour's got to be darker than this one, and it's got to be thick enough to kind of be impactful, but wet enough to kind of create some nice soft edges. So it's a bit of a balancing act. I've just noticed how light that's gone. So I'm just going to pop some extra colours over here. So this is a really good opportunity now to look at the tones overall and work out where do I need to go darker and where do I need to lift. So this area shouldn't be here. So I'm just going to gently lift that area to correct it. So I'll grab some water. Just gently kind of agitate it. Hasn't made a huge difference if I'm honest, but it's not the end of the world because I'm going to darken these legs. It's lifted it a tiny bit, but not much. So I'm going to want to go darker along here, in there and down the legs, but at the moment this isn't quite dry, so I don't really want to do that yet. I do want to do this area though. So I'm going to come down here. Just give that a bit of a glaze just to brighten it up a little bit. Makes such a difference, that second layer. And that looks odd at the moment, but once I've got the dark in there, it'll start to read right. And then we'll go a little bit darker here, but this back leg is darker at the top, so this, I don't want this to be as dark. But I think that's about right there, just very, very light glaze over there. And it gets darker as it goes down the leg. I think it'd be nice to pop a little bit of a glaze over this as well, just to brighten that up a little bit. So I'll just get some cleanish blue and cleanish magenta. Too much magenta, so grab some blue and just kind of go over this area here. I'll leave a couple of little pockets of nothingness just to allow some of those other colours to, or shades I should say, just to come, let them come through. And just add a little bit of texture. And I really want to give this a bit of a pop of colour. I'm going to give everything a bit of a glaze of water again. I really want to create some nice soft edges here. So what I'm looking for now is anywhere where I can get some nice soft washes. So at the end of the tail there, you can get something happening there. So it's like an indigo blue. So we can pop that. Sorry, I've just noticed something here as well I've forgotten to put in. Again, we can get a little bit of a nice soft edge there. Oops, too much water, so I'm just going to get rid of that, otherwise it's going to be really wishy-washy. A little bit too much blue there, but I quite like it, so I think I'm going to keep that, but I will get rid of it there, otherwise that's not going to read right. We can definitely go bluer here. This is a different kind of blue here, so I'll do that in a moment. And this is more of that kind of cyan-y, kind of pure blue there. Check that's, see, I think that's dry, so I'm just going to add some more water. Just kind of keep your eye on it when the weather is warm. That's already dried. Okay. I'm very conscious that I want to keep this part of the cheek pretty light, and here, so I'm just sweeping that away. Then we can have some nice bits of blue here, and then I'd like to get some pink in there actually. I think that would look nice. I'm going to lift a little bit of this in a minute. Just getting it there in the first place. And I'm looking at that, that's bluer than that. I've just seen that this could go darker, so I'm just mixing a little bit of that brownish colour up. It will probably fuzz into this, but I think that might look quite nice. I'm not sure, but I'm going to have a go, see what happens. Oh no, it hasn't. Well, we've got some nice shapes down here actually, so just do a few kind of lost and found lines here just to suggest them. And it goes quite dark there, and then we've got this triangle shape here. Now here it's going a little bit dark, so I'm just going to get some tissue. And there's a little bit that I've missed up here, so I'm just going to quickly pop that on. Just put some really light washes in here just to suggest other feathers. I don't want to go overboard with detail. Next, I'm just going to pop some little splashes, say here and here, using a couple of the colours that I've used already. So I'm going to go for a blue, but not a too bright a blue. Blue that's calmed down with a little bit of pink in it. And I think I'm going to go for this colour because that was nice. Rubby it up a little bit of blue. Oh, too much blue. Nice colour, but not the one I want, so let's get a bit more red in there and a bit more yellow. And I think I'm going to have them kind of like just around here, I think. Big splashes by the bird and then dissipating outwards. And there he is, our little Avocet. Really hope that you found this tutorial useful, especially when it comes to painting white animals. I look forward to seeing you soon.